They're saying we would love a Kalista, please, as first pick, and Kramer is a great Kalista player. Does mean that Tucson will also prioritize Alistar, and we could see some hard engage from the bot lane for sure.
I mean, the ADC pool is being pinched so heavily here, and MVP have to decide, what do they want to take away? Do they want to get rid of the Caitlyn, the Kalista, the Xayah that Kramer did so very well on there in game one? They'll still prioritize the Rumble on red side, but this could also leave something like the Elisa up.
Could also mean
most played for Spirit.
Xayah's last ban here from Afreeca Freecs. If they're willing to go crazy in the bans, they could just leave up Kalista and Xayah and take one off if the Elise left open, like you mentioned. So interesting to see what the final ban is from Afreeca. Yeah.
All right, they will ban the Caitlyn. So they want one of the the Xayah, or the Kalista.
Or Elise is the other pick to speak of, given that Spirit has been on a tear with Elise this season. So a bit of a false choice here for MVP. There's no way for them to get 2 power of the 3 that we spoke about, so I'll be smart to move the bans away, and they're just going to trade AD carry priority. Interesting decision. So respecting the Spirit at least that much, they're just going to give away the preferential AD carry, and no surprise that Kalista is higher priority than the Xayah with Tristana ban.
Now we just have to expect to see the Xayah come through from MVP and hold on to it till the next round if they want to. The Thresh will be taken away here from Tucson. We've seen him play this very well throughout the season.
Could just be Maokai taken as well, given how priority MVP took Maokai in game 1. The options are to take the Maokai or to just hide information, take away something else. And the Gragas is another one to speak of. Okay. We mentioned that Beyond had a great value on Gragas recently, 4-0 in their run in the past 3 games, 3 matches they've won. They will just take the Gragas to try to disengage the Kalista, because if you disengage her at the start of a fight, no longer do you have to respect the threat of all the Ren stacks in you, and it does disengage a lot of the team fight damage of the Kalista.
Well, might just be back over to the J4 here. Yeah, we'll lock this one in. So, I mean, still an outside chance that we see this go to the top lane for Marin, but Spirit, having picked up MVP with this, could just want to go ahead and run it a second time in a row.
Rakan is open to be paired with the Kalista. Braum is open as well.
Alistar
is the one we mentioned earlier. The Braum would have been a bit cleaner in terms of the Gragas impact in fights, but they just go for the Alistar. They're saying, I don't know what you guys are doing, but we're just going to hard engage. Urgot hasn't been reworked yet for this patch, so probably not going to be seeing that from ADD. Rai Smirk comes through on your screen from Maha.
I mean, it's MVP, so any other team I would be like, no, there's no way. But there's always that outside chance with Max in the bot lane.
As we got sub 10 seconds, I just saw Janair aghast watching this on their phones on the way back to their gaming house, being like, really?
Please.
Now?
Not like this. But no, it's going to be the Xayah in the end. So Xayah Thresh the bottom lane here for the side of MVP. Plenty of escape of the Storm and the Dark Passage available, trying to get away from the pulverize of this Alistar.
Both teams would love an Orianna, so Orianna may be banned by either side here in the second round of bans.
Well, certainly a lot of mid lane priority with the Galio being banned away yet again. Don't want that in here for the side of Kuro, but will it be the Orianna looking to be taken by MVP on the first time? Do they ban the Taliyah here?
Taliyah was a ban for them on the blue side, so this would be the time.
There we go.
The call here, given that it lanes very well. So Afreeca know 100% MVP will lock in Orianna at first pick, and then probably pair it with a Maokai if they can at last pick, just for reliable engage. So how do they interact with those two being the premier picks that are available as we go into the second round?
Running down the clock will be the Maokai banned away right at the end.
And now we're getting suspicious, because now you're saying, well, here you go, Orianna. It's delivered to you on a silver platter. No reason for Ian to go past it again. 3-1 recently, and there's 3 match winning streak on the Ori. Where Kuro answers it will be interesting.
I mean, we could just see Kuro pick up the Corki as well.
True. Could be the Corki, like you say. Could also be something like the Cassiopeia, even though it's not a happy matchup into Ori. It is strong in the comp. But the Corki is the standard laning pressure choice, and Afreeca seem to be wanting to focus on that, so it makes sense. All we're waiting on is to get that final confirmation of where the Jarvan's going. This time, MVP are providing coverage for their top laner.
No. Is it time? Yes, it is.
It is time.
Naren is returning.
Well, Marin couldn't go Trundle because of the coverage that was provided. They haven't selected a top laner yet. Didn't just want to go Trundle blind, so goes Nara blind, which, if this was Jin Air, we'd be talking about Yasuo. Since it's MVP, the Cho'Gath is more likely.
All right, the long hover, a couple seconds remaining before the lock-in, but it seems like they have their heart set on it, and they will go ahead and take this one.
ADD seems stoked on our screens.
Yeah, he's got a nice little smile coming through. So, Cho'Gath top versus Naren.
You've named it, you've dubbed it the Naren, and although it's losing, I can understand going for a bit of a silly name for the Nar, but it is 1-2 on the season. Has had to deal with Spirit having a bit of too much of a fun time around his lane and struggling to create pressure. The duo lane lost once, the double buster donated at a different time. Nar on the simple level does have a good matchup into Cho'Gath given the value of Hyper. Mini Nar form does ruin a Cho'Gath pretty extensively, but recently it feels like teams have played around Nars a lot better than when Juve brought back the pick right at the beginning of the summer seasons. There's no guarantees, even if on paper you like the matchup for the Nar.
Well, it needs to have much better teleports this time around. When we saw them before, TPing in, didn't have a rage bar built up or was on cooldown, couldn't get the transformation, and basically offered absolutely nothing to the fight. So maybe Marin going to be a bit more on point this time around, but he's feeling confident to try to bring this pick out again.
Good trades here, but this might be the game. Afreeca Freecs, if they win here, do go through. But MVP's draft has a bit about it too, so this could be a much closer game.
We'll have to keep our eyes on that bottom lane. Maha trying the Zaya out for himself this time around. See if they can get ahead, see if they can survive this onslaught of a match that they have with the Kalista Alistar. Plenty of CC, plenty of knockups. Let's go ahead and load in for game number 2 of Afreeca Freecs versus MVP. And here we are. Could be the last time tonight, one of the last times of the split here, Papa Smithy, as summer is getting ready to close out for us.
It's been a hot summer on and off the Rift, and we might actually start off with some fire. ADD face checks the Gnar, but Marin rightfully is not interested in going for an aggressive ward that would have led to his doom.
Can do so now. Not that he knows that it's any safer. But Tucson will also be able to place one down. We have a banner out for Ian there.
A much better time of it recently. MVP fans and also Ian in the mid lane. This has been his lucky charm, the Orianna. Orianna Gragas, great initiation synergy, and Thresh and Cho'Gath situationally. And a lot of value comboing with the Ori. My big question is, how does Spirit play this game? Because when it was the Trundle and Maokai, you could leave Trundle to have priority in top lane and just focus on shutting down the Tristana. Worked beautifully. Excellent game 1 from Spirit, won the MVP. In game 2, if Gnar gets snowballed on, things really do fall apart for the Gnar. So you are tempted to want to just leave the Gnar and replete the playstyle that got you so many advantages in game 1. But if Marin makes some mistakes, goes for the classic overextension in the early game that he's been guilty of his whole career, that plan could go away, and then if you're just walking in wards as a Jarvan, you can be baited and just accentuate the fall off for the Jarvan. So Spirit once again under the microscope and less straightforward of a draft this time for Afreeca.
Gets that nice leash coming through as Kramer and Tucson will arrive to catch the wave. So we'll be in a pretty decent start here for the side of the Afreeca Freecs. Spirit able to get the first blood in the last game. Now going to be invaded on momentarily as ADD pushes in, just throwing down a ward, however.
Passing information for the side of his jungler. Also relieves a lot of pressure from ADD himself. Marin's level 2, so he's going to win this auto attack trade real hard.
Yeah, just going to bully him out. Thought maybe we'd see him push in a little bit further for this.
Would have felt silly if he got level 2 ranked, though.
That would have been pretty bad. But, it would have been the classic Marin overextension. So it would be fitting.
Fitting if this game went to a game 3 as well. That's just how the Afreeca Freecs roll.
Just to give Jin Air the maximum amount of heart attack.
on life support. Their season is right now, given that Afreeca won Game 1. Bottom lane here is a little bit less explored than in previous times. Seems like Spirit will be making the percentage play of jungling around the bot side, though, and certainly if you're hard engaging level 2 Alistar with Ignite, things can happen when a Jarvan ganks. Speaking of
vicinity, not pushing into the brush, not warded at the moment. That seems like he's just going to poke his head out, make sure there's no forward control wards or anything of the like, and go back over towards the Krugs. That's going to be beyond, rotating in. The pings come through, so they know that he's nearby, and the spot out that he's throwing a ward down into the tri-brush. Tucson takes quite a bit of damage, flashing for the play, jumps to the side, avoids that death sentence, but he's still going to go down. Beyond coming in, flash body slam takes him down.
Nice attempts to get away, though. Love the flash angle he went for, but speaking of angles, Beyond in the right position. His top lane. Uh-oh.
Maren going dangerously low. ADD doesn't pursue in for the rest of it. Sees the transformation getting ready to come through.
Remember that you want to go Black Cleaver now, and sure there's some health there, but you're not going to be particularly high health when you're in mini-Gnar form, especially. So the form where you're happy enough to bully in is also, like you say, where the Feast can find a lot of value. So while you want to just think about it as a tank versus ranged auto attacker with percentage HP and matchup, there is that swing factor with the Cho'Gath in particular.
I mean, you hit that point where the Rupture comes through and suddenly you might just go down, especially if you're in that mini-Gnar form, so it can be very risky. But for now, MVP, nice little start here. And Beyond looking for a repeat gank, flashes down on the side of Tucson. He'll eat the body slam as the play comes in. Trying to shoot his way back around the minions with the Blade Caller. Will find the root. Shield comes through. Can he stay alive?
Teleport.
Gets that slam into the wall there onto Max, just trying to keep it locked in as the red will hit. Kuro going forward, looking for that final shot, but in the meantime, Maha comes up with the kill yet again in onto Tucson, and now Kuro, one shot from dead, will get taken down, double kill, going over to the Xayah, but they're able to answer one as Spirit does come through.
Now Gnar's coming as well.
But that's going to be the TP coming through. Maren trying to build up for that Rage Bar. Rupture connecting in onto Kramer. Now Ian joining in. It's just a party in the bot lane. Dissonance comes down. Beyond finds the kill. ADD claiming yet another life, and MVP come out on top, and this is just sloppy.
Yeah, it's an extended bot lane fight, a bit of a fiesta, but MVP make the smarter decisions, Achilles. They're re-ganking a lane, taking advantage of a melee support with no Fate's Call and no summoners. That was the smart call, and from there, sure, Afreeca makes some nice plays, but they're always going to be trading down when they have less resources. They teleport in from the mid lane. Cho'Gath comes a lot later. On the teleport completes, you think, okay, this could be something, but consider that Xayah still has summoners up. But still, there is the potential to turn around. Alistar dies just to a Blade Caller, so a bit of a misunderstanding there from specifically the side of the Alistar. And every time they come to initiate, they have to respect that there's still power coming in from the side of MVP.
They're always just fighting, basically, one member down, and they just get punished to the maximum buy-in. Maren maybe not even escaping unless he had that double hop. Could have gone down, but 5-1. The 2,000 gold lead here for MVP, significantly different this time around here in game number 2. And, this is when that possibility of game 3 just looks more like a reality, because the Freecs are starting things off very sloppily, so unless they can tighten up their play, we might just see this very swiftly spill over into the hands of MVP with a victory.
I mean, it's a snowball draft from Afreeca, and then you see the last fight, and you're like, and then you look at Maren's itemization, and you also consider that in a matchup where he wants to go lane dominant, he's been forced to go into the Spectre's Cowl first. Both those things together do not bode well for the side of Afreeca Freecs, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised that 7 minutes in, you're already thinking, could be a game 3.
Yep. And I mean, ADD in a pretty nice spot, going to have that sustain off the Doran's ring. He's got a second one for some backup HP. Have his passive. Stacks are going to be rolling through that. He's level 7. Kramer looking for a play, a Spear just wrap around, but doesn't have anybody to flash onto for that pop-up. No Fate's Call used, as Kramer's level 5.
He's the level 6 and summoners up to have any semblance of lane pressure. The Alistar. They have, like I mentioned, decided to go with keeping the Gnar on an island, so maybe that's why you have to go Spectre's Cow, just to not die to an all-in gank from beyond an ADD. Spirit and Kuro looking to potentially turn onto Ian.
We'll get the pop-up with the flag and drag body slam in, but Cataclysm comes down. Ian throws out the shockwave, but he will still fall. Good answering kill. Good identifying there by Afreeca Freecs to see that they had that opening to pick up the Orianna.
Yeah, really like the roam timing from Tucson as well. When sacrificing too much in the bot lane, still hasn't been fully pushed. They turn straight onto an Infernal Drake, which is a very nice secondary objective as well.
Yes, you got another one. They have the red stacks there, so even if Beyond had arrived in time, not be able to have it. Kramer's still not level 6, doesn't have the Fate's Call to try to throw Tucson in, so just get a couple shots in onto Beyond. Get him spotted out. He's got the trunk in range. Does he really want to play this far forward is going to be the question. Seems like there's just enough respect being shown that he can go ahead and push forward into that drive rush, but won't be finding much for it. ADD in the meantime snobs away the blue buff, has the blast cone to try to take himself out of here, but Marin is sticking to him. The feast is going to be down, so Marin can actually just win this out.
And for a big flash here from ADD, gets it.
Yep. Transfers over the wall, has to do it, otherwise Marin certainly would have had that kill, and if he had gotten the transformation, maybe even the stun, really keep him locked up.
Probably wasn't worth attempting the fat wall flash there, and if you failed it, feel pretty sheepish. Also, with no AD items, don't know about the damage potential. They might turn on to Beyond.
Yeah, they're looking for this one. He uses the body slam. He's flashed away. Will keep himself safe from the pulverize. Houston doesn't have to use his own, and twice in a row, we're going to have at least 2 Infernal Drakes to kick things off.
Twice in a row, we have slight positive movements for Afreeca Freecs after what could have been a game-losing skirmish in the bot side. A couple of things going their way. Cho'Gath going to be a bit more well-held, and there is Gnar picking up decent CS advantage, and then the bot side also getting the summoner away from Beyond. In an awkward phase in the bot laning phase for Afreeca Freecs.
He's got the Phage completed here, so still building up for the Black Cleaver. So swinging his way back in. I mean, honestly, if ADD hadn't just used the Feast, then the all-in potential from the Cho'Gath on that chase would have been that much deadlier. But just good by Marin, knowing his limits, knowing when he can and cannot fight this Cho'Gath. So trying to make it work out.
Just got bad memories of Trace's Spirit Visage Rush Gnar from spring season last year that did not do a lot of winning. When I see Spectre's Cow Rush,
There's pretty much bad memories for everything involving Trace unless it was Gangplank.
I mean, they made it to playoffs that season. And Trace had an amazing... You remember his first round robin where he was stacking the MVPs. It's a big resurgence. He was... Trace now the pick ban coach of Samsung Galaxy. Longtime top laner of Jin Air. 2015, he was actually left off the roster at the end of the year, then had a huge resurgence in spring. That was the season where Jin Air made postseason. Gangplank, like you say, was his big pick. I think he went something like 6 hours of gameplay without dying on Gangplank.
He had a very good Gangplank. It was one of the better ones that we actually had in the league, which was surprising.
We've got to think about this. Jin Air have always had a great Gangplank. GBM in 2015, then Trace in 2016. This year, though, no Gangplank player.
We haven't, well, maybe there is one, we just don't know who it would be.
A secret
just
Gangplank?
hasn't been yeah, you know, the pocket GP.
There's a lot of nurse and buffs happening on the next couple of patches, and Gangplank receives a little love tap, and it was the tank meta where Gangplank was seen as a soft counter to Shen and other top laners, so who knows, maybe Gangplank's around the corner. Spirit looking to compound the Infernal Drake with also soloing out the Rift Herald. That'll take a while.
Slow and steady, though. Has a lot more time compared to Game 1. There was a bit of a rush for he and Marin.
1954, I think it went down, so...
Marin, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, 54, I believe.
He spawns at 55, so that was risky.
Well, they got it this time. We'll see how they want to use it to open up the map. No turrets going down on either side at the moment.
Such a great time to pick it up as well, because if you consider what MVP could do with the, information they had, they would have known something was up around the last minute or so. The Drake was already down. Even getting wards on the Drake this early, it was only about 2 minutes 10 till the Drake spawn. Wasn't massive, and it's Corki mid lane with flash available, so couldn't even look for a roam gank on mid. So was a great timing for Afreeca to pick up the Rift Herald.
Max threatening them back, throws out the Dark Passage just to threaten the thought that Beyond could be nearby.
And it keeps the very aggressive control ward down, so that was a nice little mind game.
Things have slowed up a bit. Still just 5-2 here. The Orianna pick. Last thing that we really saw come through.
The way for Afreeca Freecs to turn around was a horror early game skirmish. Find themselves 2,000 gold behind, but could have been so much worse. Cho'Gath wants to feast the blue buff again.
And he can do that with relative ease, especially since Marn is currently preoccupied with the minions. Gotta wait for it to respawn, though.
I can't help but smile because I see plays like this, and the last time you remember that being a playstyle was Diamond Prox. Sorry, it was Darian playing the Shyvana in the top lane and counter jungling.
Oof.
Long time ago, but hasn't been a time for top laners to take away jungle camps in a long time.
Some of these names I've not heard for a very long time.
Diamond Prox still playing on that undefeated Gambit lineup, but Darian is in and out of streaming, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's briefly on, what was that team?
Diamond Prox?
Yeah.
It was on Renegade's B team, I believe.
Was he on Apex or whatever it was called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I was mistaken. Yes,
I think that yeah, because he was here in Korea.
Coached by Crumbs.
Was it?
Yep.
I remember seeing Vicious. He was also here in Korea.
No, he was definitely coached by Crumbs. Well, Rift Herald summoned as MVP picks up the Infernal Drake.
All right, so going to even that up here. The 1-for-1. Rift Herald does go down.
Charge coming through an ADD.
Yeah, he's just sprinting his way in. Doesn't find the slow, however. They make their way away from the Cho'Gath. But the turret not going to be going down yet.
I don't know if MVP is a nice pickup. That was amusing. Marin doesn't really do any damage to ADD, who already has 2 armor items complete. Marin went for the low damage build.
I got excited for a moment. I saw the Cho'Gath sprinting in. I was like, oh. And then nothing happened.
I mean, Cho'Gath, this is the thing, is that, especially in Korea, it's kind of been exposed to shore. It feels like he's a win more champion, because when you already have map control, he's really damn good at turning around a Baron pick or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you're behind, or if you're trying to make plays as the Cho'Gath, it's almost impossible because he's so transparent in what he's trying to do.
I mean, we saw the, the feast steals very recently coming through onto the Barons. So definitely some nonsense to be had with that Cho'Gath every now and then. But Afreeca Freecs looking to get this first brick and should be able to do so. Beyond does have the explosive cast if he wants to throw it out. But actually, with the rest of the team coming in, Tucson and Kramer will just go ahead and peel back, but Marin's rotated down towards that mid lane.
Yeah, Marin left lane because he knew he could get the threat of a teleport in and also take the first brick, or I guess the answering turret in the mid lane. So got 2 things there.
Takes that one down. Maha going to stay safe thanks to the Dark Passage, but this is Afreeca clawing their way back in. First brick helping out quite a bit.
2 games in a row of first brick in the mid lane.
Yeah, they cut down. Well, they get the tier 2 next is the question, but they cut the gold lead for MVP in half, bringing it back down to around 1,000.
Kuro's hit the part that every caster will talk about. Super powerful 1-item spike for Kuro.
Yep, you can see Beyond just suffering quite a bit there. He gets worked rather low. And this could just be the final push here for this turret.
They're walking up here, MVP.
Yeah, they're walked up. Word will get cleared out behind him, but still pretty fearless, you'd have to say. But it's shocking to see as Marin uses the Gnar ultimate to stun ADD into the wall. Will go ahead, get popped up, but ADD just really wants nothing to do with the rodent. Kites his way back.
Out of Afreeca not to fully engage. Gnar was already in Mega Gnar form for the last couple of seconds, so his teleport wouldn't be able to be matched.
But Pulverize coming through, standing directly in on top of that Dark Passage is Tucson trying to deny it, but Maha has the Feather Storm.
Orianna coming from base, showing on minions now. Should be the turret.
Beyond coming in, has the body slams. The Cataclysm goes into the backside, but Spirit's going to get pinned into the wall, and he's just going to fall as Maha finds the kill. Heading back, pops the heal, pops the flash, but he's still going to go down Kuro arriving with the Corki, takes him out, but a double flight coming through from Max just lines up a double kill for Ian, and maybe looking to get a triple as Kuro desperately tries to trade one back in onto Max. One more shot would have done it, but he cannot get it. An MVP. They lose the turret, but they trade up and kills.
Yeah, Rihanna was able to get there. The fight lasted so long in the bottom side. Ain't gonna be able to push up. Not gonna turret his top lane. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Marin maybe in a bad spot, has quite a bit of damage with the slow, connects in from the Righteous Glory. Flash forward to ADD. Does have the feast, and he takes him out. The solo kill coming through for him. And suddenly, MVP bringing out a lead yet again.
And the MVP fans hooting and hollering. They know that it was such a massive win to win in bot side and top side. Now playing with fire too much. If you watch the replay, Kramer was actually tanking turret and very low as this begun.
Yeah.
Spirit thought he was hard engaging with his team, but Kalista had to finish off the turret. And sure, they eventually take down enemy AD carry. Very nice hook from Max as Ian is ghosting in, able to clean it up. And MVP, delayed ace for them, and very little cost in there.
That whole fight was just all about Max. Absolutely gorgeous Thresh play. Target selection, the double play at the end, and then he lives for the maximum amount of style points. But MVP, 3,000 gold lead, so still nothing massive for 20 minutes into this one. They're even up as far as the Infernal Drakes are concerned. So really might come down to something like a skirmish around the Baron that could help really start deciding who is going to be the victor in this game too.
Gath is pretty much at critical mass already. Very, very early. Gargoyle's stone plate. They're trying to turn on Kramer.
Yeah, 3 members up here. Kramer does still have the flash. We have a little bit of action in the mid lane, but at the same time, Max, he finds the hook. And that is just going to be Kramer getting destroyed.
It's trading down in every scenario. They thought they could gank in mid lane. Here's Marin.
Flash in, gets the sun into the wall. Flag and Drag not going to find the knock-up, but that certainly will. As the rupture comes through from ADD, he's very tanky with the Cho'Gath, but Kuro will have the shred off the Gatling gun as ADD tries to threaten, but with the rupture not connecting, he won't have the damage to finish him off. Still does quite a bit, but they find 2 kills down towards the mid lane, but they still lose out on that top tier 1.
Bit of a messy phase, but Afreeca trading with where they are in the game is pretty decent from their side. Not ideal to give up the top lane turret. In the inside track into bot lane, Phage and also the Trinity Force complete among these two.
They will rip this thing apart.
Jarvan's there to provide coverage as well.
Yeah, he's kind of gatekeeping from the sideline, so they'll just go ahead and knock down an inner turret for free. Very nicely done there by Afreeca, as Beyond chases in a little bit, but would have to commit the explosive cask, and Max and Maha are a bit too far behind for him to try to get the pick.
Afreeca's draft is strong in side lanes, not so much in the team fighting phase where they are at right now. So picking up turrets like this is growing some gold and keeping it at 2,600 gold lead, which it was really after the 5 kills that MVP picked up earlier.
They're looking for a little bit more here, starting up the Mountain Drake.
Okay, there is vision around Baron.
They're pinging this one. They're doing the question marks, but this is going to be Afreeca just piling in.
Cho'Gath's around here, remember.
Tucson is very squishy. They will have the Rend. There is a Cho'Gath, as you say, throws a ward in, but the control ward will be denying the vision. The rest of MVP trying to get in here. Ignite, starting to use it! The Spider's already been used, and that's going to be the Devour coming through from ADD. He comes up with the Baron steal. Without vision, goes in. Just a control ward right at the last second to try to pick that one up. Now Shockwave in, onto Spirit, onto Kramer. Pops him back with the explosive casket. MVP are winning the fight. A double kill over to Maha at the end. Just have to give up ADD's life, and now all 4 remaining members have the Baron.
After the death, you see the blue ping on the blast plant. Afreeca could have warded over and killed the blast plant. They didn't. They knew that Cho'Gath's flash was down. He didn't need flash, and now MVP. They're running forward, and they may not break the base, but they've broken the hearts of Afreeca in game 2.
They certainly have. The turret going down in mid. Second one following up, and now they can just go scoop up the Mountain Drake to make these pushes that much easier with the Baron buff. MVP. It was a bit back and forth, the gold lead not really stretching, but with that steal from ADD, his heroics have pretty much solidified them with a lead here in game number 2.
Oh, Afreeca Freecs. This is why they have so many heart palpitations fans. They could just ward and kill the blast plant. They don't. Rend comes in at 947.
77 remaining.
It isn't about the Rend, it's about the decision to not actually take all factors into account. You know the blast plant is there. You kill it. So does the hope of Cho'Gath stealing. He did not have flash. Get over the wall. No ability to clean up the fight afterwards, of course. Spirit looks frustrated. Freecs, finally, in this game, are in a deep hole.
I mean, that's one of those things where you just, subtitle at the bottom just screams internally over Spirit. Has to not be too happy about everything that just transpired. MVP and Jinner, however, are probably pretty ecstatic. You mentioned heart palpitations. I'm sure they have quite a many few. Maybe they have an ambulance on standby as they're watching this set.
There's something about MVP as a team. You know, we talked about them so much in spring, making that unlikely run, and even without any household names, turned a lot of heads, doing so well in a league dominated by stars. Summer hasn't been that season.
Taking a decent bit of damage here underneath the turret. As Ian throws out that shockwave, zoning him back, so tier 2 going down as MVP continues pushing in the top lane.
They got a lot of credit from fans for standing up largely against RNG in the match that eventually they lost, and the LCK lost to the LPL and Rift rivals. And now, finally, with the meta changing, they are showing they have just so much scrappiness about them. They will not back down. They will go for moves that, are they the correct move 100%? No. But they seem to know how to play around their own limits, and in this game, they look very likely to be sending the series to 3 games.
It would be a major turnaround at this point here by the Afreeca Freecs if they could come up with the 2-0.
Team comp-wise, they're not really set up to do so. Again, 1-3-1, powerful. Some team fighting scenarios can work for them, but so much more reliable on the side of MVP with Gragas, Orianna, and Xayah. Their roles are pretty clear, and if it is a game like this where you have the Baron buff, where you can start pushing up vision, the Cho'Gath also can play a part.
I mean, they need some absolutely stupid wombos with the Gnar and the Fate's Call, perhaps, to try to lock people down long enough to come up with multiple kills in a fight. So coming over from Max, throws out the Dark Passage. They want this one. The box is down. Flag and Drag coming through from Spirit, but Beyond just chucks the cask. And he will go down, pops him over the wall. Another pick coming through. Hook not going to connect on Marin. MVP will just go ahead, wrap back around the side where ADD has the wave being brought up in the look to take down this final inner turret.
Anything that's a pick comp works for them. Tucson just goes in for the headbutt Pulverize.
Rupture not going to connect the Fate's Call. Almost finding the kill there on a Tucson. Instead they'll throw him back in. Looking for Max, but he flashes away. Goes at the death sentence, and the Shockwave will not connect. A big whiff there on both of the spells from MVP. They only got the turn down to about half. They're looking for a little bit more as Maha is still rather healthy. The wave clear is decently strong for the Afreeca Freecs.
Fates go down. Tucson's health bar far too low. They will not be able to claim the inner turret. Spirit can go answer. Massive minion wave in top. Or delay any growing of the lead for the side of MVP. But largely job done by them there.
Holding on by a thread. Are the Afreeca Freecs here. 4-0-10, by the way, for Beyond. Almost 100% kill contribution on this Gragas. Just that solo kill by ADD on top.
The thread you speak of is not a convincing one when you've got Voidsoft already complete for a 3-item build. For Ian, Maha has 3 items as well on the way to his 4th, and Gragas and Cho'Gath are looking pretty unkillable in the front line.
That's why I said thread, not rope. It's not looking good.
No. We did trade evenly for a while after falling behind, but that time passage is gone. Champions are good at pushing, good at harassing, but not good at actually coming back in a scenario like this where they're doing everything they can to get some sort of vision. This is not a mass kill.
Oh, yeah, ADD. Just walking in. Takes quite a bit of damage, though, from the Corki. Down to below half. Cataclysm to get over the wall, but they'll just kind of exchange spots as ADD looks to turn things around with the arrival of Maha. TP channeled out here by Marin, but no Rage Bar, and honestly was only closing about 20 yards distance. Just cancel that one as MVP will get prepped for what could be their second Baron of the game. 40 seconds remaining until it spawns.
AD can just teleport back in, but Baron hasn't spawned yet, so no real need to enter the fight just yet. Freeca stealing Baron, or finding a way to claim it themselves, one of the few ways they can actually keep this game within their grasp.
I mean, think of how different it would be if they had just done it right the first time. If they had gone down the checklist and said, okay, Blast Cone, get rid of that. Smite and Rend at the same time, do that.
Neither of these two teams have been big on checklists.
That's true.
MVP famously giving an interview that every analyst in the world shook their head at, where they said they loved the thrill of the Baron smite off. Usually people just put down 2 control wards and don't need that sort of thrill.
Yeah.
I don't know what sort of sick games they like playing. Baron has spawned. A lot of coverage in the area.
Martin gonna get jumped on. Hops to the side, has the flash over the wall. And with that flash down, the threat of the Meganar finding a massive stun. Just sort of goes away for the most part. MVP have yet to start up this Baron. They have control over the vision, however. Maybe looking for a pick on Nakuro, who's rather far forward, but he has the package.
We don't have a control ward on the pit, so will be a bit of questions about how safe a Baron force here is. Spirit feels strong enough to walk up to a level 16 Cho'Gath. He's 4 levels behind.
Bold move. Is all right. But needs to come up with a massive smite away. As MVP, they have started up this Baron. It's already down to about half HP. Remember, they have the Infernal and the Mountain Drake available for them.
And keep it leashed for a long time if Gragas and Cho'Gath are tanking it.
He's just taking so much damage here from Maha. Gragas going back in, down to 2,600. Flag and drag forward. Spear just tries to get himself into the pit. Kramer firing away a little bit as the Fate's Call comes through from Kramer. Will leash it as the healing starts to roll back in. Massive rocket connects in onto Maha, taking him below half HP. And MVP seems like they will just go ahead, consider this a stalemate, and peel back.
Yeah, good. Afreeca played a dangerous game there. They played it pretty smartly. The moment that Stoneplate is down from Cho'Gath, his threat when it comes to Feast goes down. It's a cooldown that's pretty significant. Meganar was going to run out for Marin, didn't have flash to reposition either. Afreeca, with basically no control over the past 5 minutes, will take a Mountain Drake against the run of play and at least not allow MVP to open up a bigger lead than they already had.
This evens them up as far as the Dragons are concerned. Elder going to be the next one that spawns.
Got more control wards this time, so they are a bit more set up to take the Baron. Massive minion wave and bot side that Cho'Gath has to deal with.
Go ahead and take that one away. Haven't seen how many stacks he's at, but I think he's only feasted on 1 person. So, not going to be anything too significant at the moment.
Marin has been able to farm up a Storm. Very low damage build. Only just finished the Black Cleaver in recent times. MVP, they put down the control wards in the right brush. If they peel off the Baron, really are set up to win a fight and/or take the Baron. With them especially, you wonder, Achilles.
Trying to bait them in. Sitting here inside the pit, Marin has the Meganar coming through.
Hasn't been started yet. That's confirmed by the blue trinket.
They're just trying to wait. They want Marin to go ahead, transform back into Mini.
Notice the MVP have not played their side lanes at all, so nothing's working with them. That's why Kalista walked up to the mid lane in a turret, but look at Baron, it's been ripped apart.
They have a ward in the pit. True Vision here with the control ward. Going in, they can't quite get it. It's going to be the Feast coming down from ADD, and now the fight has broken out. Wilson Cask into that flag and drag there from Spirit. Throws in the Cataclysm, looking for Ian as the Shockwave will connect it onto Marin, who just cannot transform. He'll get taken out, and now Kramer is in no man's land. He'll be isolated. He'll get taken out. A double kill over to Maha, plus the Baron yet again for MVP.
Yeah, MVP made it tricky for themselves by not playing the side lanes, but because they had the brute force and the ability to tank it pretty endlessly with the Gragas and the Cho'Gath, they pick up the Baron anyway. They can barrel through the mid lane if they so choose, and the grouped up minion wave and bot is finally starting to slow push their way. With the Cho'Gath, they love to break the base with the second Baron buff. The first one was a steal, the second one was a lot more straightforward for MVP.
Here to try to clear out the waves. Can do a decent job, and Kramer's spawning in 15 seconds, so not the full 5. This could still prove difficult for MVP. First, they're going to focus on that bot inner turret. Last one standing. Weren't able to knock it down the first time around, but they got it to half. So a couple more shots from Maha will take this out.
Roth had backed, but has the ability to teleport in. The Baron buff minions enough to dissuade anything from Afreeca. No Gnar ultimates to speak about from Mar in this game.
Spirit looking to the flank, but this is out on the vision control here. Have an avenue of approach. Will get absolutely annihilated unless the follow-up from Afreeca is perfectly timed with him.
And even then, is the follow-up enough damage? Corki and Kalista can do damage, but on an Orianna shock, it's not really AoE follow-up for what is an AoE CC ability.
I feel like right now it's really on Kuro to come up with a burst. Kramer trying to complete his 4th item. An extended fight can do quite a lot, but given all the bursts that's available to the side of MVP, especially with that shockwave, it's going to be rather difficult to stop that.
Timing window starts just about now as Gnar is exhausted.
It takes a lot of damage here from Kuro, as you can see, but he is very low on mana, so he's going to have to go back over to the base. Couple wards available behind that Baha could spot out if he went in there. But without any energy built up from the Gnar, the TP is just going to be very difficult to try to pull off, so has to just play in the front line. Pop-up coming through, silence down onto Kuro, and he is just going to get knocked to death. Shockwave not connecting at all for MVP. It seems like it might not even matter. Big knock-up coming through as Tucson finds a pulverize onto absolutely everybody, but he gets dragged back into the fight, and he's going to be the second one that goes down. MVP, now with 2 members dead on the side of Afreeca, Baron buff still on their side, should be able to push in and knock down this inhib turret.
Yeah, first time we've seen an initiation rupture actually work. Kuro disrespecting the range, died with his flash up, instant CC'd, into silence, into death. This is the Baron buff cracking at the base we talked about on the second spawn, and they might try to brute force the game.
It seems like they're going to. They're still pushing in here. Turret almost going down, flashing for the flay. Kramer going low, trying to jump away as best as he can, but ADD yet again has the kill. Double going over to the Cho'Gath. First Nexus turret will go down, and that should be the game here. Just above 35 minutes in, MVP keeping their hopes alive of advancing higher up the standings, keeping Jin Air's hopes alive of making it into the playoffs. It's all gonna come down now to game number 3.
And the max hype value is game 3, but also Achilleos. If MVP win this series, we do get the matchup between Jin Air and Afreeca for that final spot on Saturday. So that would be ultra hype for what is a week of playoff implications here in the LCK. MVP made their draft work. Afreeca had a lot more variables this time, with the Gnar not recently working for many teams and not working for them in this game either. One fell swoop of mistakes in the bot lane and also a solo kill in the top lane decided the game. Afreeca tried to make some aggressive plays that didn't work. They were in touching distance for a time, and then the game fell away from them. And predictably, when it's Afreeca Freecs and MVP, of course it's going to go to game 3.
All comes down to that one moment at the Baron. Afreeca could have got themselves back into the game, could have gotten themselves a lead. But they allow for the blast cone to be there. They allow for ADD to just inject himself directly into that Baron pit and come up with a feast steal.
I saw the blue pings, and you knew they were Marin after all the deaths, being like, why didn't anyone kill the blast plant?